of a new and a better life and the tools with which to win and build it. These are people who have made it possible for us to be where we are today. We stand on their shoulders as they are the giants. Their actions commands us to discharge our responsibilities with the utmost dedication, whatever the station of life we find ourselves. Must always remember that we are creating something that our people have never experienced before. Mistakes would be committed, but so our achievements are going to be committed. This month, this Heritage Month this year, is observed under the theme, the Year of OR Tambo, celebrating our liberation heritage. Our Heritage Month this year coincides with the birth of the African patriot who strode the globe like a true African colossus, Oliver Reginald Tambo, a man who was characterized by, amongst others, the following: an unwavering commitment to serve the people of our country, continent, and the world, with no expectation of any personal benefit; a sustained determination to conduct himself in a manner that communicates a message that never betrayed the cause of freedom, peace, and social progress. The formation of the liberation movements the world over had a common objective, which was to free the citizens from the colonial and intercolonial rule. South Africa's liberation and democracy is part of the internal victory against oppression. Key to this struggle, too, was the international solidarity. Therefore, it is important to put into context the resistance and liberation heritage route and international liberation heritage to be celebrated, which encompasses sites and persons both inside and outside the borders of South Africa. OR Tambo, South Africa's foremost diplomat, is memorialized both domestically and globally. It is important to emphasize the point of the resistance and liberation heritage route. This is an important part of the work of the leaders on the continent. As you would recall, that in 2011, UNESCO took a resolution to ask the countries of the continent, particularly those who come from the liberation struggle, to write their story, to tell the story. They term it Road to Independence. And Africa came together, countries of Africa came together and agreed that Tanzania should be the one who's leading these efforts of telling our story. In South Africa, we commenced with our national chapter of the resistance and liberation heritage route in 2015, where we have identified in each province at least 3 sites which form part of this liberation heritage route, and see how we connect with other countries. We have, for instance, something which connects us with Mozambique, as you would know, the Mbuzini Memorial Museum, the Madola one in Madola in Mozambique, which tells the story of a people of Southern Africa treading a path to independence, to freedom, as it were. You will have with Zimbabwe, for instance, the Wankispolilo campaign and area, and many others. So it is an important task for us, because we think that if we are able to explain to the world about our road to independence through our own words, people will understand it the way we do. Also this year, we mark the 40th anniversary of the brutal murder of a combatant for freedom and social justice, Stephen Bantu Biko, a man who demonstrated in practical terms what it means to be a servant of the people. The program, therefore, and consistent with what I've outlined above, will embark on a number of initiatives. Remember that it's a month also where it coincides with the book week, which we've started already, and amongst them the programs would be which we are encouraging people to take note and participate, those who could, on the book fair, the 8th of September. And on the 11th of September, as the ministry would be having a conversation with young people of our country who have gathered at the National Heritage Monument in Gauteng, Groenkloof. And this is the place where we've started a process of having a South African national monument. If you go to any country, anywhere in the world, whether it's developed or developing nation, there is a place where you go to, which would be a sacred place for a people of that country. If you go to Senegal, in Dakar, for instance, you'll be confronted with a 10-meter statue of African Renaissance monument. Or you are in Algeria, in Algiers, you'll see this place where you go to and pay respect to the people of Algeria and so on. And in South Africa, we are doing the same, because we believe that the tale of South Africa still needs to be told in its fullest. That is why we are acknowledging that our freedom was not exclusively because of South Africans. It was the world over, humanity across the globe contributed. We are engaging with the province continuously of Gauteng and Tshwane Municipality Metro to have this space where we will have the story, our story told. We started in the pre-colonial era. We have leaders. Wise people talk about Jan van Riebeeck in 1652. What they've not spoken about are the people Jan van Riebeeck met when he was here, people who actually resisted Jan van Riebeeck. The Stearman brothers, for instance, just 2 months ago went back to Australia to repatriate one of the Stearman brothers' spirit back to South Africa, who was, taken to Australia, and where he was buried now has a railway line. So his spirit is back. You have people like Domen, for instance, who fought fiercely against Jan van Riebeeck's people. If you go to the National Heritage Monument, which we launched in 2015 in Groenkloof, you'll see all these people, up to your warrior kings and chiefs of this continent, of this country particularly. Your Inzas, Kukuni, Makado, Dingan, Shaka, Tshwane, and many others, to those who fought against apartheid, be they coming from ANC, from Azapo, PAC, and so on. So you'll find all of them there in life-size statues telling our story, and all of them having a caption of who they are and what they did. So we'll be meeting with the young people there, interacting with them, and on the 18th of the month we'll officially open the cultural village in Skagata, that is in KZN. On the 21st of September we'll have a memorial lecture on Ger Sibande, the one who was dubbed the Lion of the East. his district in Mpumalanga is named after him. The district municipality there. He led the front on the potato boycott, for instance. We'll also take into account, and we're interacting with all the stakeholders, including the family, the fact that this is the 50th anniversary of the passing on of the Ken Temba. So it's a literary giant wouldn't want to miss, because his footprints is everywhere in the literary space, especially within the journalistic fraternity. We should work doubly hard to make sure that these events, all of them, which would be more of build-up programs for the actual day in Mpumalanga, on the 24th, which is the Heritage Day. So we call upon our people in the country to honor the legacy of those who were before us, and also bearing in mind that Mpumalanga itself has produced a lot of giants, leaders in different social stations, be it in culture, in heritage, and so on. This is the province which produced our own Picasso, Gerald Sikoto. In fact, would be having the national event in Gerald Sikoto's own region, which is in Nkangala region. It's a province of the greats. We've just laid to rest Ray Phiri, who no one doesn't know in South Africa, and his contribution in the arts, culture, and the heritage landscape of this country. So we hope that they would be able to deal with the things which we're supposed to, as we started with the book week. We have outdated statistics, for instance, but they give a picture of more than 10 years ago that our nation is not a really reading nation. More than 10 years ago, I don't know whether there's any which has been done recently, which pointed that about 5% of South Africans read for leisure. Maybe it's a different story now. We have the social media, we have all others, and people said that South Africans don't buy books, but whenever you have book fair, people buy those books, and so on. So we still have to do a lot in terms of research insofar as that is concerned, but we will, as the department, be worried on the culture of reading, and we would want to do our best in contributing both from affirming indigenous languages and developing them. And it's the reason why, for instance, we thought it's important to focus on the indigenous language classic books. And that's why last year we highlighted that a classic book like Ityala Lamawele was turning 100 years since it was written. You would have Nkinsela Semkundove and many others around the country. And those classic books, one of the things they do, they make our youth to master their own mother tongues, their indigenous languages, which is important, even at this point. At this level, then I would want to thank you, DDG, and members of the media here with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister, for sharing with us the theme and also the program for the month.
Well, there you have it. That was the Art and Culture Minister, Nathi Mthethwa, who will today launch Heritage Month under the theme, The Year of OR Tambo.